The investigation into the tragedy of the El Faro continues as part 2 in a round of hearings begins in 2 hours.
The National Transportation Safety Board and the U.S. Coast Guard are really hoping to finally learn what caused the ship to sink last October. 33 mariners died when El Faro went down north of the Bahamas. This, of course, was during Hurricane Joaquin. Channel 4's Ashley Harding joins us live from the Prime Osborne Convention Center. You talked to a maritime attorney. What's the focus going to be this go-round?
Well, Bruce, he tells me it could get very technical. Rod Sullivan tells me over the course of about 2 weeks, we're going to hear from about 27 people testifying. 13 of them, he says, will be talking about one thing, cargo loading. Of course, El Faro was a cargo ship. It's been 7 months since El Faro sank. What led up to that tragedy is still a mystery. Hearings lasting nearly 2 weeks wrapped up in February, but the question remains. What happened to El Faro? So begins round 2 of public hearings. Maritime attorney Rod Sullivan.
They're focusing in on certain issues that they've considered important after all the work they've done.
Issues like what was on the cargo ship.
Now, I don't think most people understand that the El Faro, because of the bankruptcy of Horizon Lines, was sailing at or near its full capacity.
Meaning?
It had more cargo than it almost ever carried. And I surmise that the Coast Guard is trying to determine whether there's a link between the amount of cargo that was being carried and the sinking of the ship.
Tuesday, Sullivan says the discussion will turn to weather. An expert with the National Weather Service is expected to testify on whether the ship should have left port, and if so, when the captain should have turned around.
The clock is ticking. Can I please speak with a QI?
During the hearings last February, we heard recordings from Captain Michael Davidson. He called towed officials to let them know the ship had lost power and there was damage from the storm.
I have a marine emergency and I would like to speak to a QI. We had a hull breach, a scuttle blew open during a storm.
Emotional moments from the first hearings. Sullivan says this round will be more technical. Still, family members will be there. Some coming from Georgia and Louisiana, at least one as far as Maine.
One family is coming from Georgia, and I believe there's a family coming from New Orleans, and then the local families, I assume, will come as well.
Now, you might be wondering about that data recorder. It was found last month after several months of searching. Rod Sullivan tells me it's now up to the Navy to decide if we're going to actually send money to send another vessel down there to go get it. Of course, it has been a long time. That most likely will not be part of the discussion at the hearings. Again, these doors open at 9 o'clock in 2 hours. We will bring you all the updates on the news and on our website, newsforjax.com. Live downtown, Ashley Harding, Channel 4, the local station.